Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening on a Tuesday. Hey, baby, how's it going?
Hey, John. I'm awesome. How are you?
Very good. My beautiful wife, Heidi, hanging with me here. And we'll be talking to your dad later today because we have
that's right.
Tuesdays with Charlie
already.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Hey, there are more than 1,000 chemicals in a cup of coffee. Of these, less than 100 have been tested.
Ooh.
And about 14 of these so far have caused cancer in rats. That is not good news.
Oh, I thought they said coffee is really good for you.
Well, that's what they said. They always change their mind. Who's they anyway?
I don't know. I don't trust them.
I don't know. I wonder if it's a specific kind of coffee that they're talking about. But it says 1,000 chemicals in a cup of coffee. Of these, less than 100 have been tested, and about 14 of them have been known to cause cancer in rats.
Not good.
Don't
Not
let your
good.
rats drink coffee is what I'm hearing.
Enjoy your morning coffee while you can.
I'm going to go get a refill just because it's good stuff either way. Coming up, we got something to talk about. Dictators. There are some interesting stuff to chat about there on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com.
If you're selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. So what do you have to lose? And if you're buying an RV, you got to find the great deals at RVWheelator.com.
Now back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Ever wonder why some dictators go into the oppression business? Hitler, Stalin, Mao Zedong,
Obama.
Hey, come on now. They all had one thing in common, other than being brutal dictators who killed millions of innocent people. All three of the ones I mentioned, Hitler, Stalin, and Mao Zedong, admitted to at least once in their writings that they initially had gotten involved in politics to meet girls.
Oh, to meet girls. I was going to say to help people.
No. Every one of them said, I got into politics to meet girls. And apparently they didn't meet enough girls, and they're like, that's it.
And it made them angry.
I'm killing millions.
They could not handle it.
Yeah, so there you go. That's what they say. So that's apparently why they're not so happy, and they decide to, change the game plan a bit. Coming up, we're going to talk about a woman in a swimming suit that causes a massive air search. Interesting.
Oh.
Also, later in the program, trees and alcohol don't mix. That's part of our Brain on Drugs segment. And today is a Tuesday, and it's my favorite day because we have Tuesdays with Charlie. All of that and much more on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Interesting story here. A woman in a swimming suit caused a massive air search for a missing person. In England, a woman was taking a dip in the ocean when she decided to pop over to the supermarket. So she wrapped herself in a towel and wandered off. A man drinking in a nearby boat club noticed her clothes had been laying on the beach for quite some time. With no owner in sight, they called authorities. They launched a massive air search looking for her. An hour later, the woman, who was still only wearing her swimming suit and towel, came back to get her clothes, and she's like, what's going on around here? What happened? And she had no idea that they were looking for her. So,
well, the guy had good intentions.
He did, yeah. But
he was trying to help.
She wandered off and left her clothes laying there. So,
oh, that's too
And I'm
bad.
assuming it's because she probably thought, well, I don't want to get my clothes wet. I'll wait till I'm dry. So it all made sense, but it was, intentions, best of intentions, but, kind of
I wonder who has to pay for that, because there's a lot of expense involved there.
But I don't know if
it was an
anyone,
accident.
I don't know if anyone has to pay for it, because it's not like if there was a,
Yeah, he wasn't doing it to cause problems.
And it's not like if there was an accident and they did pull somebody out, they send someone a bill. They don't do that. But I do understand it racked up a bill.
When there are false reports,
but I don't think
they do charge. I mean, it was an accident, so hopefully they don't go after this guy. It happened in England,
so I have no clue. Hey, coming your way in a while, we have Tuesdays with Charlie. That comes up here in just a bit on the program. Also, we do have your Brain on Drugs coming up in a while. We're going to talk about trees and alcohol and how they don't mix. And a low IQ and fire don't mix either. There's a good story. Good story to share about that.
That one sounds interesting.
Yeah, so it's going to be quite the Tuesday program. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your Brain on Drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. Trees and alcohol don't mix, Heidi. A drunken student recently spent the night in a tree and had to be rescued by the British firefighters. The student climbed 100 feet up into a pine tree without his shoes and then fell asleep. 8 firefighters needed 90 minutes and a bunch of ropes and pulleys to get him down to his precious perch. As one of the fire officials put it, alcohol and climbing trees just don't mix. So why in the world...
I wouldn't climb a tree anyway.
Why would he have gotten drunk and decided, I'm going to climb up in this tree?
Well, you do things when you're drunk.
It's a good thing that he didn't...
typically do.
It's a good thing he didn't fall out of the
yeah,
tree.
when he passed out in the tree, he's very lucky he didn't fall out.
Because I don't know if you've ever climbed a tree before. I have. When I was a kid, I climbed trees all the time. I can't imagine falling asleep up there and just staying.
No.
So I'm not sure what kind of tree this... Well, it was a pine tree, but he had apparently a good perch. Coming up here in a bit, we're going to talk about low IQs and fire and how you shouldn't mix the two. And we'll tell you why on your Moment of Duh on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVWheelator.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
An unnamed employee of a furniture store called Furniture by Thurston in Nevada ended up getting his pants saturated with a flammable liquid. We don't exactly know how that happened, but it did. Then the moment of duh happened. He thought, out of curiosity, if I hold this lighter near my
he didn't.
pants... Yeah, he did.
My gosh.
If I hold this lighter near my pants, I wonder what would happen.
I can tell you what would happen.
What do you think would happen?
He caught on fire.
Yeah. You can guess. Fortunately, he suffered only minor leg burns, but he did catch himself on fire, and he caught the building on fire. So he's in a little bit of trouble.
Gee, I'm real sorry your mom blew up Ricky.
That was from, what was that movie called? Better Off Dead.
Better Off Dead.
Yeah, we just watched that not too long ago. Really sorry your mom blew up, Ricky. So this guy caught himself on fire, and the furniture store that he worked in was caught on fire.
Oh, my
All because
gosh.
he had flammable liquid on his pants and thought, I wonder how close I can
see what happens.
I wonder how close I can get this lighter before I catch on fire. Don't do that. We've got your scoop of the day coming up in just a bit.
The John and Heidi Show podcast is brought to you by DirecTV.
They have big-time savings going on right now, so you can sign up and save. Get all the details at 1-800-259-7646.
Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com.
Quite possibly the best way to buy an RV or to sell an RV. They're like a realtor for your RV. Check out RVWheelator.com.
And the Dollar Shave Club.
Get amazing razors for $1 a month, and for a few bucks more, they'll bring them right to your door.
Sign up today at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
Now, your scoop of the day. And I got to tell you, this study, I think, is completely skewed. But in a recent poll, they asked, what's the most embarrassing thing that could happen on a first date? Among teens and young adults, they said, number one answer, bad breath is the most embarrassing thing that can happen on a first date. Do you agree with that?
I completely disagree with that.
I do
there
too.
Are way more embarrassing things.
Let me tell you who sponsored this poll.
Oh, like Dentyne or something?
Listerine.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So if you were saying Listerine is asking me to call you, and what's the most embarrassing thing? You're like, yeah, bad breath, probably. Let me tell you some things that I'm not even going to go into detail, but you could have an accident in your pants from front or rear. Either of those would be way worse. I'm saying there's a lot of things that would be way worse than having bad breath.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not the worst thing.
That is not the worst
thing. If that's
thing.
the worst thing that's ever happened to you on a date, you, my friend, are very fortunate. All right. Tom Hanks is in negotiations to portray Captain Sully in a movie that Clint Eastwood is putting together about the Miracle on the Hudson. So why is it that Tom Hanks is the go-to guy for all of those things? They did one not too long ago about Captain Phillips.
Yeah.
And now they're like, hey, we need someone for Sully. They're like, anyone call Tom Hanks? Google plans to eliminate human driving in 5 years. Ooh, that's kind of crazy. There's an MSN report. Google's self-driving car prototypes have no steering wheel, no pedals. It's just basically a computer that does all the driving. It's a huge technology step forward. The same software controls the Lexus and Toyota vehicles and has logged hundreds of thousands of autonomous miles. What's important here is Google's commitment to its all-or-nothing approach. They expect to have a finished product completely done by 2020. So that'll be interesting.
I don't know how I feel about that.
They're going to have computers driving, and we're still going to have some people driving. And I think when you have people and computers, we're going to have problems.
Well, because
if the computers
there are
were
some things that you have to have common sense for to be able to figure out on your own that a computer is not going to be able to navigate.
It'll be fascinating.
What about like in winter in rough conditions? And how is the computer going to know if the snow is too deep to drive through?
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah,
that's all.
I just think that's
stuff they're working on.
I just think that's a bad idea.
All right. Hey, according to Elle magazine, am I saying it right or is it Ellie? E-L-L-E.
It's Elle.
Elle? Okay, I thought so. Plastic surgeons are seeing an increase in requests for hand lifts, not facelifts, hand lifts. It's a trend. Many report that they're claiming it's directly related to the desire for better-looking hands for their engagement ring photos.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, my gosh.
Oh, hey, can we just pull this tight? You know, if you're just doing it for a photo, you're getting a hand lift for that?
Use Photoshop, sweetie. It's a lot cheaper.
All right, Denny's has opened a restaurant in Las Vegas with a wedding chapel where couples can tie the knot after their meal. So you get done having the Grand Slam, and then you go and... I wonder how many people are going to do that. Got married. Really?
Where is this at?
In Las Vegas. we went to Vegas. We had a Grand Slam, and then we got married. A new survey found middle school...
My dad would do that.
I think it's funny. We should renew our vows.
We'll have to tell my dad about that.
A new survey found middle school students are cheating with their smartphones. More than a third of youngsters are using their phones to help find answers for homework. And more than 2/3 lie that they don't do that.
Yeah.
It says here, 88% of kids admit that they're not allowed to bring phones into the classroom, but 66% said they could bring their tablet to school. So, depending on if they can or can't have it, that probably would make a difference on those numbers.
Wow.
If you eat less, specifically cutting 300 to 500 calories from your daily diet every day, it'll not only reduce your risk of many common diseases, but it may also slow the aging process.
Really?
That's the word from researchers at St. Louis University in Missouri. They eat so little, they all have become infants again. That's exactly. No, it doesn't reverse it. But it says if you're eating a smaller amount of calories, you're going to age less. Time for the strange law, Heidi. In Kentucky, it's illegal to remarry the same man 4 times.
First of all, what?
After the 3rd time, they say, you guys are done. No more. No more. That's in Kentucky. All right. Thanks for listening.
I think that's a good law.
This has been your Scoop of the Day.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by Rough Tough Kennels.
If you have a puppy or a big dog, Rough Tough Kennels has something that's just right for you. They have kennels that are strong enough that I can stand on top of them, but they're cozy enough for your furry little best friend. Learn more and see the different sizes available at roughtoughkennels.com.
That's RUFF. toughkennels.com.
Thank you so much for listening on a Tuesday. Time now for my favorite show of the entire week. This favorite thing we do every Tuesday. We pick up the phone and call my father-in-law just because we can for a program we like to call Tuesdays with Charlie. How you doing, Charlie?
Hey, this follows Monday, right?
It does indeed. We're keeping them all in order. I got some fun questions for you today. I can't wait to get to those. But first, we should probably find out, what do you have for us?
Okay. Did you know that 22% leave the glob of toothpaste in the sink?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm married to one of those.
I do not. The kids do.
Somebody does.
Leave the glob?
Yeah.
I don't.
No.
I do not leave it in there.
Me neither.
I don't either.
I'm the guy that tidies it up because it makes me mad. I don't like it.
Yes. Okay, if you have $1 billion and spend $1,000 every day, it would take you 2,740 years to go broke.
Wow.
I would love to take somebody up on that.
That'd be kind of a fun challenge anyway.
Well, why don't you give me the $1 billion and say I spend $10,000 a day and see if we can cut that time down?
There you go.
2,000 years to live.
The U.S. government spends about $1 billion every day. So.
There you go.
I think more than a day. I think it's every 20 minutes.
It doesn't take them that long.
Hey, then you're in the music business.
Kind of, I guess, a little bit.
Kind of, sort of. Rumor has it.
Yeah.
Did you know that music is as addictive to the brain as sex and drugs?
I wouldn't doubt that. I think so. Yeah.
Do you think so?
Oh man, yeah. I'm like singing along all the time. Do 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 do. Yeah.
Then why are you always asking for sex?
Well, because
my brain's thinking about sex. You can put the music where the sun don't shine. My brain's on sex, man.
All right.
Hey, then, did you know that Play-Doh was first manufactured as a wallpaper cleaner?
No kidding.
Really?
Did it work for that?
Yep. Must not have,
because now the kids just play with it.
Well, that's cool. I didn't realize
fascinating.
that.
Yeah, well, some stuff happens like that, you know. It doesn't work here, so we'll do this.
Exactly.
And then, did you know it is impossible to hum if your nose is plugged?
I did know that.
We've tried that, actually.
We tried it on the radio one time.
On the radio.
We sounded like a couple of idiots. You know, so
Which
it's pretty
is
much
no
like
different than
every
any
other day.
Like a couple of maroons.
A couple of maroons.
Hey, a portion of the water you drink has already been drunk by someone else, maybe several times over.
Yeah, and then it's been recycled and hopefully purified really, really, really well.
I hope so, because I don't drink a lot of water unless I got something in it to kill that bacteria.
A lot of barley and hops, is that what you're saying?
A lot of black velvet. Okay, hey, I got one last thing here for you.
All right, what's that?
Each day, there are over 120 million people having intercourse all over the world.
Oh, no kidding?
Wow.
Each day.
They must not be listening to music.
They got something else on their mind.
Hey, Denny's in Las Vegas just put in a place where you can actually get married after you're done having your breakfast there. So I
after
think
the Grand Slam, you
Right
get
after
married?
the Grand Slam.
Yeah. You can have the Grand Slam followed by the thank you, ma'am, apparently. I don't know. But I think,
That's like
Charlie,
a wham bam, thank you, man.
I think that we need to plan a trip to Vegas, you know, you and Sandy and Heidi and I.
Mom's always wanted to renew her vows. How much do you think she'd appreciate that at Denny's?
We should do that. We should plan a trip. We shouldn't tell her that's what we're going for.
She would be so mad.
She's got an anniversary coming up sometime, doesn't she?
They just had the anniversary.
Oh, well,
Just had it.
We'll have to wait a whole year now. Well, I got a good question for you here, Charlie. Who was originally supposed to be Indiana Jones? It was Harrison Ford that got the role, but who was it originally offered to? Do you know?
Tom Cruise.
No.
Oh, you're close, though.
No, Tom Selleck. You had the Tom part right.
Oh, the other Tom.
And
I couldn't have seen him as Indiana Jones.
I could have.
I couldn't.
But Indiana Jones would have had to wear really short shorts then, which would have been kind of weird. Remember Magnum P.I.? Like,
Yeah, had those gym shorts on.
Hey, I'm going to...
Them are tennis shorts.
Tennis shorts?
Well,
tennis players wear them.
How about this? You're a golfer. You enjoy golfing. Have you ever heard of a golfer by the name of Fuzzy Zoeller?
Zeller?
Fuzzy Zeller?
Fuzzy Zeller.
So you have, is what
That
you're
just
saying.
reminded me of WKRP. Chai Rodriguez.
How did Fuzzy Zeller get his first name?
He drinks fuzzy navel.
No. His real first name is Frank, and his middle name is Urban, and his last name is Zeller, so Fuzz was his nickname. Fuzzy Zeller.
Huh.
So his real name is Frank. I just learned that.
I didn't know that.
Jeb Bush. Jeb is his initials, too. It's J-E-B for John Ellis Bush. I didn't know that. I just learned that last week.
Well, who cares about that?
Well, I'm just saying. Apparently it's a thing. So,
it's a thing.
Charles Leroy Nelson, you're Sullen. No, that doesn't work, does it?
No, it doesn't work.
No.
All right. Well, Charlie, we do appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. And you did good. You got Tom right, at least, on that. That was good. And you told me how to say Fuzzy's last name. So.
Yes.
Well, we'll
talk. Life is good.
Life is good.
It is indeed. We'll talk to you again next week, Charlie.
Bye, Daddy.
Okie dokie. Bye, Fluff. Bye, John.
Bye-bye. My father-in-law right there. We talk to him every Tuesday just because we can. It's a little program we like to call Tuesdays with Charlie.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Today is a very special day, Heidi. You know what today is?
What is today, John?
It's Tuesday, the 23rd day of June. It's International Widow's Day. I don't know if it's Widower's Day as well, but Widow's Day. National Let It Go Day. I wonder if this has to do with Frozen. Let it go, let it go.
I don't know.
National Columnists Day. Pink Flamingo Day. Public Service Day. Runner's Selfie Day. That sounds dangerous. What happened to your arm again? You see, I was running, taking a selfie. SAT Math Day, and this is a cool name, Windjammer Day. I've never done that.
I don't even know
what
that
is. It's the
is.
Windjammer. It's where they have the like a kind of a surfboard thing with a sail on it. It's a windjammer. I think that's what it is.
I don't know. I thought it was a wacky wailing, arm flailing, inflatable tube man.
No, that's something different.
That would be a good name for it, though. Windjammer.
That would be.
It looks like he's
that's a better name than the big long thing you said. All right, today's a special day. Get out there and celebrate on this Tuesday, the 23rd day of June.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVRealtor.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
A teen has been suspended for participating in a food fight that she wasn't even a part of. Take a listen to this.
Why?
Well, here, listen to the story here. Food fight recently broke out among more than 100 students. This was when school was still in session, I'm assuming, at Central Valley High School in Ceres, California. Unlike Animal House, where somebody jumped up and shouted, "Food fight!" School officials say this fight was planned, and it was executed by students who spread the word via text messaging. The school has suspended several students, including senior Lana Dixon, who won't be allowed to participate in her graduation ceremony.
Oh, no.
This, despite the fact that Lana wasn't at the fight and only sent text messages to warn other students to avoid the fight. So she didn't do anything to encourage people. They have text evidence saying that the only text messages that I sent were, hey, they're doing a food fight, don't go in there, you're going to get messy, you're going to get in trouble. And she also was suspended with everybody else. So I wonder if there's more to the story than what we're reading.
There must be more to the story than what we're reading.
I don't know. You just never know. Have you ever been in a food fight of any kind?
No.
Have you ever thrown food of any kind?
No.
Never?
I eat everything that ends up in my hands. I would never throw food.
A memory that I have from when I was a child, I have no idea why we did this, but I remember we were eating spaghetti, and we didn't usually eat spaghetti outside, because usually we would eat that in the house, but it was really hot, summertime. We were eating spaghetti out in the backyard. Our parents left because there's 6 kids in my family, 4 older ones, and then there's 2 that came later. But the 4 older ones, we were all outside, and we started throwing spaghetti at each other. And I remember there was spaghetti hanging from trees. There was spaghetti hanging from the power line. We got in so much trouble.
Now that you say that, though, I remember.
It was fun.
I remember being maybe 9. And my brother would have been 7, and my mom used to always make us Jell-O jigglers.
Oh, you threw one at
And
him?
I remember being in our bedroom, and we thought it was so funny. We were throwing them up to the ceiling, and they would stick.
Yeah,
and we'd watch them stick and then try to fall. And my mom, we were in trouble.
Hard to paint over that.
It kept bleeding through. She painted my ceiling like 4 times, and it just kept bleeding through.
Hey, if you're ever going to get in a food fight, do it outside. That was pretty easy. Close it down.
It's easier to clean up.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Retired Olympian Brian Clay might just be the father of the year. Of course, I said might. He found a new use for his javelin, though. Okay. He used his javelin to pull his daughter's tooth. Gold medalist, again, javelin from the Olympics, gold medal javelin, retired in 2012, has focused on parenting his little girl. Recently, he recorded a video on YouTube. The clip begins with Clay holding a javelin with a long string attached to the end, while the other end was tied to a piece of thread that was hooked to his daughter's tooth. The video shows Clay throwing the javelin, followed by a clip of her mouth with one less tooth. So there you go. He threw the javelin and popped her tooth out.
He had to have just, there's no way that
I don't know. Have you ever done it where you tie it and you slam the door? Or?
I don't know.
That's what they say he did, and I'm not going to disagree.
And I'm going to believe
that's a cool dad right there. I don't know that that's a smart dad, but that's kind of fun. We've got a story that we could share about me helping my daughter get a tooth out, but we'll do that later. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club.
You can get razors every month for just $1. And for $2 more, they'll bring them right to your door. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more.
That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
Peanuts and other nuts may protect against several major causes of death. We don't have any peanuts in the house. We need some.
Yes, we do.
I ate them all.
No, you didn't. The trail mix?
Yeah, it's gone. Well, there's like a tiny...
You ate that whole bag? That was
It
a
took
huge bag of
It took
trail
a week.
mix.
Yeah, I've had it every once in a while. A scoop a little bit of those. According to a study that began in 1986 involving 120,000 Dutch adults, people who eat at least... I can't speak. People who eat at least... I still can't say it. People who eat at least 10 grams of nuts or peanuts daily have a lower risk of dying from a range of serious illnesses. Reduction in mortality was strongest for respiratory disease, neurodegenerative disease, and diabetes, followed by cancer and cardiovascular disease. Funny thing is, all the words that were hard to say, I said fine. I
like
couldn't
nuts.
say anything else.
I could eat nuts every day. I really
So there you
should.
go.
We should get some.
We should, definitely. More nuts. It says peanuts and other nuts. So I'm going to go out and get some nuts.
I like all kinds of nuts.
There you go. We are nuts for nuts.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Can you improve your family's relationship with a DVR? Yes, you can.
According to you.
Oh,
yeah.
and according to this story. I agree with this, though. It says more than 70% of digital video recorder owners say they could not live without them. I could live without mine. Certainly could. But according to a survey by NDS, a maker of smart cards and other technology for digital pay TV services, owners ranked the DVR as the second most essential household technology, right behind what?
Refrigerator.
No, telephone. Third,
are you kidding?
Yeah,
household technology. Without a refrigerator, you would be in so much trouble.
Third most indispensable household item after the washing machine and the microwave oven.
Oh my gosh!
The refrigerator wasn't any of them.
The microwave comes before the refrigerator?
Yeah, you want to heat it up. They don't think about it.
Well, what are you going to heat up if you got nothing to keep cold?
It's all going to be stuff in the pantry, apparently. Survey also found that over 60% of DVR owners with a partner, whether they're married or just living with somebody, felt that having the DVR improved their relationship. More than 3/4 of DVR owners with families also felt that having a DVR improved their family relationship.
Well, yeah, it's hard to
Quote,
fight when all you're doing is watching stuff you recorded on TV.
Yeah, quote, eliminating arguments over TV and allowing for the whole family to enjoy the dinner table. Here's why. I've noticed this. I'll set things up to record. I am not a fan of live TV anymore. I don't want to watch it live. We'll watch it on the DVR instead, and I hit the button and I zip through all the commercials, and I watch a half-hour show in like 18 minutes.
That is nice. I do like
and
that.
there are shows that I love that you're not a fan of.
Yeah.
So instead of the two of us spending the time together when that's on, watching a show that you don't even like, when you go to bed, I'll flip it on and I'll start watching Shark Tank or whatever show I like that you're not a big fan of. And I think it's cool. So it's a great idea. Now, could I live without it? Yes, absolutely. It wouldn't kill me if I didn't have it. But we're not getting rid of it, right? All right. Thank you so much for listening on a Tuesday. You're tuned in to the John and Heidi Show.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by Rough Tough Kennels.
If you have a puppy or a big dog, Rough Tough Kennels has something that's just right for you. They have kennels that are strong enough that I can stand on top of them, but they're cozy enough for your furry little best friend. Learn more and see the different sizes available at roughtoughkennels.com.
That's RUFF, toughkennels.com.
Do you remember Kindergarten Cop?
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, there was a line in there where he says, "It's not a tumor."
Yes.
That was I probably didn't do a very good Arnold impression there. But doctors performing a surgery on a man in Japan, they didn't release his name, they found that what they thought was a tumor was not a tumor. Guess what it was?
What?
A surgical towel. It had been left in him for the last 25 years.
Whoa.
He had been carrying this cloth around for a quarter of a century. Surgeons at the Asahi General Hospital in Shibuya, I don't know if I got any of that right, somewhere near Tokyo. Hey, I know that one. They left him, it was left in after an operation to treat an ulcer. A spokesperson for the hospital.
In his head?
I didn't say it was in his
head.
head.
I thought you said he was having brain surgery.
No.
I don't know why I thought that. I don't know.
All right.
You must not have.
Spokesperson for the hospital said the man went to a different hospital in late May after he was having abdominal pain.
Okay, so it was
examinations found what they thought was an 8 centimeter, that's like 3.5-inch tumor. He underwent this operation and pulled out a towel that was left in after his last. It was not in his head, so it was apparently in his abdomen.
What a huge relief.
Yeah.
To be going in thinking you've got
It's
some
not
giant
a tumor.
and It was just a
You do
towel.
your Arnold impression. Say it's not a tumor.
No,
just try
I
it.
do not do
Come
impressions.
On. We got 20 seconds.
No.
Say it. It's not a tumor.
No!
Just say it's not a tumor in your voice.
John, I'm not going to say it.
Just say it in your voice. You really don't want to play along today,
I'm not
do you?
going to play along with that.
Wow. It is time to say goodbye, Heidi. Will you say that?
Goodbye, Heidi.
Oh, rough crowd. Rough crowd. Man, thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. For those of you who have never seen that show, you have to check it out. Then you'll see what an awful job I've done on my Arnold impression. That's going to do it for the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And your bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. Go to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to get all the deals that you can possibly muster from these guys. They've got an amazing deal. You get razors for $1 a month. That's why it's called Dollar Shave Club. And I saw an article last week that says that their business model has disrupted the $13 billion razor blade market.
Good. Because I think it was price gouging anyway.
Yeah, because you'd go
So
and
good.
you'd buy a razor from the other guys.
Yep.
And how much were a package of razors?
They were the ones that we were buying were $15
Yeah.
for a package of 4. There was
Yeah.
4 in there.
Yeah, so for $15.
It was insane.
And then I switched over to these guys, and I'm not doing the $1. I actually do the executive.
You did the $9 because
Yeah,
we were buying
'cause it's
expensive
$9.
blades before. Yeah,
And there's no shipping on top of that. So for
Right.
mine, it's a flat $9. Now, if you do the $1, there's a $2 shipping on there. So it's still $3. That's
Yeah.
1/5. 1/5 what you're paying with the other guys.
Yep.
Anyway, and if you don't want them shipped every month, do it every other month. Do it whenever you want it. They don't care. It's just a really cool service. And like I said, it's disrupted the... What was it? 15 billion, whatever
That's
it was.
good. I think it needed it.
Crazy. I didn't read the whole article, but I saw the thing and I was like, oh, hey, we talk about those guys.
Yeah.
And it is a really cool thing. And I really do use them. So I don't just talk about it because they're paying me a whole lot of money. As a matter of fact, they're really not.
They're not paying you.
I just think it's such a cool thing that we want to talk about it. So if you want to check them out, dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now let's get to our bonus break. Before we get to this stuff, we had a story on today's program about a dude who threw a javelin with a string attached to his daughter's tooth and yanked her tooth out. Whether that really truly happened or not, you can watch the video. You see the thing, you see it all rigged up, and then when it's done, you see her without a tooth. I have no idea if that really is how they yanked it out or not. But I can tell you, my daughter, who is 13, going to be 14 this month, back when she was a little twerp and had some teeth to come out, she would let them hang there to the point where... her loose tooth was no longer loose.
Yeah,
it was like hanging by a thread.
She was so afraid to pull her tooth.
And I wanted to help her pull her tooth out, and she was afraid that it was going to hurt. So there was one. I remember this. I feel so bad about it. I wanted to pull her tooth out, and she didn't want to. So I was like, well, here, let me help you. And she was freaking out. Anyway, I touched it. I didn't even push it. I just touched it, and it fell down her throat, and she swallowed it.
I remember another time we were at a restaurant.
So bad.
And
we just talked about this. Yeah.
Tried to take her into the bathroom to pull her tooth.
Yeah, because she was bleeding, and she had a loose tooth. Like I said, she would always wait till they were, like, dangerous.
Yeah.
And this was after she swallowed the other one. I was like, you don't want to swallow another tooth. Come on.
So he takes her in the bathroom of this restaurant, the
She's
men's
just a little
room, because
kid.
she was tiny, and he takes her in there, and he's trying to. Well, all you could hear is the little girl screaming, coming from the men's room. She was screaming at the top of her lungs. And then John and her come out. She's got blood dripping down the front. Never did lose that tooth. The tooth was still in.
I gave up.
And he comes walking out of the men's room with a little girl bawling with blood coming out of her. I was like, oh my gosh, that just looks so awful.
Everybody in that restaurant was like, that guy's a heck of a dad right
Should
there.
we be calling the police?
What is he doing in there? That's where you want to wire. You go to every table. She had a loose tooth. Yeah. Try to help with it. She had a loose tooth. That's anybody that's paying attention. That's all that was going on right there. Promise you. All right. Hey, I do have one thing we're going to talk about. St. Petersburg, and this is one of those stories where you just can't believe it. But St. Petersburg, Florida police SWAT team wanted to startle the residents of a house that they were about to raid because they were trying to get in there. SWAT team break into the house. So they threw in a noise grenade, which started a fire, completely destroyed the house. Besides destroying the house, they also destroyed over $100,000 worth of recording equipment. And what the police say? Well, the device didn't start the fire. It says the device never started a fire before. They were following standard procedures, so what's the big deal? Well, here's what the big deal was. Turns out the police, they weren't even at the right house.
Oh.
This is the third time now. We should keep track.
Yeah, there's a lot of
how many
these.
homes have been destroyed. They weren't all by police. This was by police. Another was by a contractor that was sent to knock a house down, and they knocked down the wrong house. And a third was by the folks from one of the military agencies. They were doing a bombing drill, and they bombed the wrong house. So in the last month and a half, 3 homes destroyed inadvertently. How crazy is that?
That is crazy.
Yeah, these guys, they threw in a noise grenade. I've never heard of such a thing. Apparently, it's a grenade that just makes a really loud boom. But this boom caught some stuff on fire and burned the house down, too. And it was not even the right house. All right, that's going to do it for our bonus break. I think we've given you plenty extra. I got to go find my daughter and give her a hug. Make me feel bad. Thank you guys so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Bonus break brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.